I saw Hasan put out a video on him getting banned. Thought maybe it would be an interesting watch. Let's see. Also, trendsetter much. I make a video as a Twitch streamer and suddenly other people, suddenly Hasan is making, not other people, suddenly Hasan is making videos when he's not live. I get the cubes in the background. Suddenly he has the cubes in the background. Pretty sus. Pretty sus if you ask me. Stealing my swag, dude.
Hello. If you're watching this, that means I just got banned. As in, I got a temporary 24-hour suspension. And we're back together on this deep, up-close, and personal YouTube video. Welcome back to the Hasanabi channel on YouTube. Now, some of you are probably wondering, considering that there's a lot of back and forth going on online about why I got banned once again. Well, you might have actually heard the truth. I got banned specifically because I covered the motives of the Israeli embassy staff shooter, which apparently, according to Twitch terms of service, dictates a
Chat, wait. Normally, I enjoy my hating as much as I like, anybody else's hating. All right? But I hate this voice. It's so forced. Dude, it's like the YouTube curse. I implore you, record yourself when you're just like streaming or talking to other people, and then record yourself when you try and when you're trying to make a video. It just comes out on its own. It's so frustrating. Like assigned YouTuber voice at birth. I just go ASMR and I'm like, I have to listen to it. And I'm like, okay, I think that sounded normal. And I'm listening to it and it's like, hey guys, I just wanted you all to know. I'm like, how? How does it sound like that? How does it sound like that? I made an active effort. I'm like trying. I'm forcing myself to sound normal. And I listen to it back and I'm doing the YouTube voice. And I'm like, I'm so pissed. Like it's the most time consuming thing about recording a YouTube video is just re-recording the audio over and over and over again, because every time you record it, it doesn't sound natural. It's so infuriating. It's actually so infuriating.
Suspension, even if I critically examined the manifesto, which is precisely what I did. The reason why I read this is specifically so that you understand that there is a shit ton of people that are like, no, the shooter's actions were directly about finding some Jewish victim to kill. Okay, it's deliberate. It's clear what his reasoning is. You don't have to agree with what he did, and I'm not urging you to. Okay, I'm not saying that at all, but it is deliberate. Ask yourself why the media is not saying that the shooter did this because they were distraught with the violence that they had seen unfolded in Gaza. And the reason why I had critically examined the manifesto of the Israeli embassy staff shooter was because there was a lot of misinformation taking place, as is the case usually online whenever there's a breaking news story. This is what I do. A big part of what I do is holding people's hands through the news media process by allowing them to think critically and helping them understand media literacy. This is precisely why I was covering the manifesto that my friend Ken Klippenstein was able to find and release. Another friend of mine, Eric Toller of the New York Times Visual Investigation Unit, had also uncovered the manifesto of the shooter around the same exact time, and he had also released it on his Twitter page. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because oftentimes when instances like this happens, the media will take bits and pieces of a manifesto to create a framework around the motive. But in this circumstance, the media actually was quite quiet about the manifesto in and of itself. And I think that's newsworthy, but that's not the story here. The story is that I got banned for it. I got temporarily suspended because this is a part of the Twitch terms of service. You are not allowed, as it dictates right here in front of me, to even show a violent extremist manifesto on stream while denouncing it. This, I think.
I mean, again, I literally got the same ban when I tried to I was following the TikTok trend where everybody was reading bin Laden's fucking manifesto. I was like, well, they're doing it on TikTok. It's probably fine to do on Twitch. I'm going to denounce it the entire time. I want to see why this is entering the news cycle. I want to see why everyone's talking about this. I've never read it. I bet a bunch of other people have never read it. Let's see. And then it's like, nope, you are not allowed to show a manifesto while denouncing. It's like, okay, all right, okay, sure.
Think is not good for news and press freedom. And I said on Twitter, I'll take the suspension, but I hope Twitch changes its policy in the future. And I do believe they might. Having said that, how do we get here? Especially considering that I had covered manifestos of the Cybertruck explosion. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2008 Black Mustang V6 for verification. The Luigi Mangione manifesto. I do apologize for any strife or traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. The Wisconsin school shooter manifesto.
Thanks, Sapphire. I honestly just do everything with thrifting.
So some people think it's pure nothing, but because the hate they make, it ends up killing them without knowing it, which go right ahead. I don't mind, but kind of do at the same time. The literacy rates are abysmal in this country. The manifesto of Ryan Ruth. Dear world, this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I'm so sorry I failed you. Wait, how did he know? And also the Israeli diplomat shooters manifesto. The atrocities committed by Israelis against Palestine defy description and defy quantification. Why was this different? Why was this a big deal? I'm covering all of these different manifestos on stream, and I've never been banned for it. Well, I believe the reason why this was actually a little bit different is because there was a lot of outside pressure in the immediate aftermath of this shooting. The ADL, Apartheid Defamation League's very own Jonathan Greenblatt, went on CNN only hours after the shooting had taken place to make incredibly slanderous statements about me, stating that I was responsible for this. My rhetoric was responsible for this. Let's take a look.
All of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hasan Piker, who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in
I still can't get over how low poly he is.
the Jewish state.
This is slander through and through. I do not apply awful genocidal language towards Jewish people.
And as other people have pointed out, this is not a pre-watch, but I'm Nostra Denims, so I'm gonna have pre-watched it somehow in an alternate dimension. But as other people have pointed out, the standard for calling something a genocide for the longest time was a bar that many people thought was too high. Israel could not be conducting a genocide because a genocide is something too serious to have just been happening right underneath our noses. It's just not possible. Obviously, you guys are calling what Israel is doing a genocide because you are attempting to be anti-Semitic. They refused to use the term anyone who was pro-Israel, whether they were Israeli, whether they were Christian Zionists, whether they were Biden, refused to use the word genocide because they believed it was something that required a high bar, it had a high standard to call something a genocide, which I think I respect and understand, but in this context, it is a genocide. And now suddenly you can just say, you're just like fine to throw out the term genocidal language towards Jewish people about Hasan. It's like, what happened to only using the word genocidal about things that are very, very genocidal?
I don't believe that even a genocide that the Israeli government is doing justifies a genocide to the Israeli government or the Israeli people. I am not the one who is defending a genocidal state here. Jonathan Greenblatt is. Having said that, this slander continued with no pushback from the CNN anchor, which I think is rather strange.
Extremists should not be empowered. People who spout prejudice should not be platformed. This is a moment when we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to stop this because the consequences are deadly.
Here, Jonathan Greenblatt was making an implication that my rhetoric was responsible for this Israeli embassy staffer shooter going out and finding Israeli embassy staffers and shooting them. This is ridiculous. There is no connection between me and the shooter. The shooter actually followed a bunch of people. I was not one of them on Twitter. He was not following me. What the do you mean? He was, however, following a bunch of, he was following Joe Weisenthal, you know what I mean? To Jonathan Greenblatt's statement, I replied with, Israel is an apartheid state doing a live stream genocide. I think it's wrong and dangerous to conflate these heinous actions with Jews and Judaism. The Apartheid Defense League doesn't because they think they can improve Israel's standing by silencing its critics. It, however, will not change the truth. And this is important to note because that's not where the story ends. During my coverage, there were a lot of people that stated that perhaps the embassy shooter was maybe a false flag operation. I do not believe that. Part of the reason why I covered the manifesto was precisely for this reason, to make sure that we understood the motives and we understood exactly what this shooter was intending to do. But that wasn't enough. There were the likes of E.L. Jacoby, a Hosborough guy on Twitter who lies at the behest of the state of Israel quite frequently, saying, breaking, Hasan Piker, hailed by the New York Times as the future of progressivism, tells his audience that the DC attack might have been a false flag, then immediately says the guy was genuine with his actions. This is glorification of terrorism. Now, these two things, these two statements here are at odds with one another. But what's actually even crazier is that this is a 37-second video that is attached to this statement. Let's take a look at that 37-second video. But like I'm not Mr. False Flag at all, but like every single thing that he did in the aftermath of the shooting is so fucking crazy that it's like you could not have fucking designed a incident like this. You could not have designed a better false flag incident like this. I'm not saying it is a false flag incident at all. I'm not saying that. I think this is just a one dude who is genuine in his actions and maybe, you know, a little bit brain broken. Okay.
Hot take, you may disagree with me. Twitch has a problem with unfair bias, that big streamers get less bans than other streamers. So I can see why streamers are calling out Dan Clancy and Twitch moderation. That's not a hot take at all. Everybody agrees. Everyone's on the same page. Myself, more than any streamer that is not getting 10, 20, 30K viewers will absolutely agree with you. Ice cold take, totally agree with you. The problem is not that there is this unbelievable unfair bias just because they hate small streamers or something. It's that smaller streamers don't have a way to contact Twitch representatives and actually get any change at all for their platform. Because like I remember my alt channel got a it got a permaban. I tried to appeal it. It was like brigaded. It got a permaban. I tried to appeal it, and they immediately denied it. And I was like, and Twitch's policy is you can't stream on Twitch on a different account if you were banned. Luckily, I was able to speak to a Twitch representative directly and be like, hey, I just put in my ban appeal for this, and then I just got perma'd. This is ages ago. And only because I was able to speak to a Twitch representative was I able to get that removed. Where the Twitch rep was like, I'm so sorry, we've had this problem with like recently with DMCAs. Again, this is like years ago. And yeah, we'll fix this right now. Just like put in another appeal and like we'll make sure someone manually reviews it. That they don't have the people, they don't have the staff to sit there manually reviewing every single page, every single account, every single ban. And so they opt for a lot of automation. I'm presuming the automation is way too prevalent. That's an assumption on my part. I don't know the exact reason on why it was automatically the ban was automatically denied, or sorry, the appeal was automatically denied. But literally, it's just that the larger streamers have a way to contact Twitch, and smaller streamers don't. That's it. I see myself in Hasan's chat. Wait, look, real.
Most people that retweeted this didn't even actually watch the video to see whether or not it actually matched up with what this person was saying. Now, why am I talking about this random account? It only got 6,000 likes. I retweeted. I said a fascinating phenomenon nowadays is watching people clip things in context that I'm saying and then turn around and simply claim that I'm saying the opposite of what I'm saying in the clip. This is a 37 seconds long video and this dumbass lied about everything. Why am I bringing this up? Great question. It's because the clip formulated by this account, which stated, Hasan Piker, star of Amazon's Twitch, says the attack sure looks like a perfect false flag. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The guy was genuine with his actions. How fucking absolutely gross is it that this is currently being streamed right now to 40,000 people? Then it turned into this. Hasan Piker, hailed by the New York Times, the future of progressivism, tells his audience that the DC attack might have been a false flag. And yet, here is Jake Tapper retweeting this. So I guess Jake Tapper, one of the most important members of the media, who just came out with a book talking about how the media narratives did not match up with what the people were seeing in terms of Joe Biden's senility, is still doing ridiculous things like this. It doesn't make any sense. But of course, all of that pressure inevitably led to Twitch taking this action. I had covered manifestos in the past on my broadcast. None of those manifestos actually met the same level of scrutiny. This one did. And I don't believe this one did exclusively because it was about Israel. I think this manifesto was simply used as an opportunity to try to get me banned by gaming the terms of service. I did not think I was going to get suspended, but I'll take it. The real reason the ADL and numerous other organizations are actively trying to come after me, however, is because Israel is falling out of favor. Because many Americans and many people in the Western world are now finally seeing the truth that Israel is an apartheid state that is built around an ethno-supremacist ideology, and that Israel is doing a live-streamed genocide. Yesterday, they killed a doctor's family. 9 of this doctor's children burned, charred. Images such as this can be seen all over people's timelines and all over social media, because now people have unprecedented access to the victims of a genocide, unlike ever before. This is the reason why Israel has fallen out of favor and has become a pariah state on the global stage. This is the reason why now Western leadership, who have supplied Israel with arms in order to engage in such violent acts for the past 19 months, are finally turning around and stating that perhaps Israel should allow aid in, that perhaps Israel should stop doing war crimes. A former Likud, far-right Israeli prime minister recently came out and said, enough is enough. Israel is doing war crimes. Israel has fallen so out of favor that The Atlantic, that a year ago wrote to rebut Hamas's allegations by letting journalists see the war up close would be a calculated risk. Even when conducted legally, war is ugly. It is possible to kill children legally if, for example, one is being attacked by an enemy who hides behind them. This was written on The Atlantic only a year ago. And now that very same Atlantic magazine is writing articles such as this one. It should not be controversial to plead for Gaza's children. Israel's limits on aid have put the region at critical risk of famine. Help is within reach, but it's not enough, and it's arriving too slowly. The reason why the tide is shifting is because the pressure valve is insurmountable. Too many people know exactly what's going on, and as fascist ideology is a suicide cult, it seems like Israel is bringing the rest of the Western leadership down with it. Israel is no longer a democracy. You cannot be a democracy while you want to maintain an ethno-supremacist state that is an apartheid state, and you certainly can't be a democracy while doing a genocide. But the Western world that seemingly was able to abide by and hope that the pressure goes away from the broader public are now being forced to listen to the demands being made by the public. So there is a interesting bargain here ahead of us. Will our politicians listen to our voices and try to maintain the presence of a democratic process, or will they go down with Israel? As I say here, every day that goes by, more and more people realize the truth. The very same institutions that spent countless hours defending and contextualizing Israel's genocide will now change their tune. Try and deplatform me all you like, but you can't change what people have seen. One day, everyone will behave as though they were always against this. I'm Hasan Piker. I hope you can keep supporting me and watching me on YouTube, because even if I get deplatformed from Twitch completely, I will still find a way. And even if I am deplatformed entirely from every single website, the truth will still come out. On that note, see you on Monday. Bye.
Bye. I love the girly pop bye at the end. Bye. Let's get into the mold, shall we?
You can say that you 10 toes down support the Houthis. That doesn't get you banned. But if you criticize a manifesto, that does. I'm sorry, make it make sense. Okay, so do you see what I'm saying here? So Hasan got banned for, this is what he said. He says, I covered the motives of the Israeli embassy staff shooter. Twitch TOS dictates a suspension for even critical examination of the manifesto. I believe this is a bad policy for news and press freedom. I'll take the suspension, but I hope Twitch changes this policy in the future. So this is his entire email right here, and this is what it explicitly said. So I'll just go ahead and just to make it easier for you guys to see it, we can go ahead and just pull it up, and I'll make it bigger so you guys can see it. So improper handling of terrorist propaganda. So sharing content related to terrorist or violent extremist groups. Examples of violative conduct include, but they're not limited to, showing a violent extremist manifesto on stream while denouncing it. So that means that you can get suspended even if you say something is a bad thing just by showing it. Just by the nature of showing it, you can get suspended by doing this, right? He didn't even denounce it, right?
I mean, no. What? No. There's a special carve-out for violent manifestos out of concern that it would encourage more violence. You can show lots of bad things and denounce them. The problem is that when there is an action committed by a person who writes a manifesto, the concern is that the manifesto was so convincing that other people go out and commit more acts of violence. That immediately on the back of violence by this manifesto, more violence will occur. Twitch seems to believe that this deserves a special carve-out.
Well, like what I'm saying is that even if you do denounce it, you would still get suspended. I'm going to be honest. I think that's stupid. I do.
Based.
I think you should be able to look at stuff and say that it's bad. Because, again, obviously, this is...
I mean, yeah, based. I agree. I think if it's currently relevant, if it's currently in the news and it's relevant, yeah, I think you should be allowed to cover those things in a respectful, responsible manner.
Not necessarily what he would do, but I try to be fair. I know it sounds crazy, but
based. There it is.
I try to be fair with this kind of stuff. And it was weird that he denounced January 6th, but he promoted Hamas as the only organization that's helping Palestine. I don't know if he said that or not. I didn't see him saying that. But anyway, and I hope not, because it's certainly not true. But either way, let's go back. Hasan denied it for 1 minute, defended it for 5 minutes. Right. And this is the thing, is that whenever Hasan says that he critically analyzed this manifesto, I don't believe him. And the reason why I don't believe him is because he interviewed a Houthi terrorist, and he said it was a Yemeni teenager. He said he wasn't a Houthi. He said it was German.
Wait, but this is correct. What? There was no evidence that the Houthi kid was a Houthi. The evidence that people keep pointing at is that there's a picture of him with a gun.
Journalism, and then he's like, we love you, and he's doing a hand heart, and he's like, you would do what Luffy is doing, and we support you, right? And so whenever somebody has a history of lying, I'm going to assume that
lying. Houthis weren't even designated as a terrorist organization until after the conversation that he had with him.
The next time they say something, they're also lying, right? And so anyway, call him Tim Houthi. Well, I don't know if they call them that or not, but regardless, you're misunderstanding it. Bad take. It's not about denouncing it, but him showing it. You're not. That's not what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying before typing out whatever your argument is against something that I'm not saying. Listen to what I'm saying. I am not saying that he didn't denounce it, but what I am saying is that I don't believe that he denounced it based off of the fact that he lied about the Houthi thing. He did. And I remember whenever that happened, I defended him. Everybody remembers, like historically, I defended Hasan interviewing the Houthi person because I thought that he was interviewing them in a journalistic way. I later on watched the entire tape. I found out that was not true, and I reversed my stance on it because of that reality. So when I see Hasan, who previously...
It's so funny that he posited that if someone lies, you can't believe them when they say other things. And then right before that and after that, he proceeded to lie most notably the fact that the Houthi terrorists, the Houthis were not designated as a terrorist organization until after Hasan's interview with the kid, who is not a Houthi, where there's no proof that he is a fucking Houthi, that we just keep, like, you're literally lying in this clip. And then you say, well, you can't believe people when they lie. And then he says something. I was defending Hasan before I watched the interview. Well, by your own principles, I shouldn't believe you because you lied in this very video.
Had said that he was just simply interviewing a Yemeni teenager, and he totally...
No. Watching a woman try to think just hurts to watch. So you don't have anything to say? You don't have a rebuttal? Isn't it, guys, isn't it very funny that the people that come in to make criticisms, they don't really have anything that they can criticize. They don't have arguments against anything that I'm saying. So they just have to say, women, am I right? Ugh. Ugh. This, can you imagine? Blech. You know, you could just argue your point on why you disagree with what I said, right?
Misrepresented the situation. And now I see it happening again. And he's saying, oh, well, I was just talking about the motives of the Israeli embassy staff shooter. Guys, I don't believe that.
But you can just go and watch the clip then if you don't believe his tweet. If only there was a video of him doing it.
I don't. I'm not going to just believe that right off the bat. Am I crazy for thinking this? I'm not going to immediately believe this is what's happening. Yeah, how many points on the graph? Yeah, exactly. And so, like, no. And I'm not saying that he's lying either, but I'm not going to assume that he's telling the truth. This is like a conspiracy thing, right? But Hasan, if he takes days off, it's often on Sundays. So he basically gets it. So let me get this straight. So he gets a suspension on his day that he was going to take off. And that like, and now he's going to come back. This gets a lot more people talking about him. It promotes him a lot more. And this is like, they banned him on Sunday. Right, exactly. Like, again, I'm not a conspiracy Andy, but if I was, I would be very upset right now. And so anyway, it's a ban for optics. Well, what I'm saying is that it actually creates the worse optics. Because when everybody starts discussing the fact that he got unbanned.
Wait, he's not doing this as like, he didn't go on this tangent as a tool?
All of these clips start circulating around again of him saying X, Y, or Z thing. This is just another point where Twitch, like, in my opinion, I think Twitch either
Wait, I want to wait for him to finish because it's possible that he's capable of making this entire point as a tool for his argument.
Suspended him for longer, or they should have not suspended him at all. One or the other. Because a 24-hour suspension, all that's going to do is because, like, and this is the other issue too, is that a 24-hour suspension, he's gotten like 5 of these, right? And Twitch has a, like, kind of like a punishment pyramid, right? Where it's like you do, you know, it's a warning, a day, 3 days, 7 days, 2 weeks, a month, and then perma, right? That's generally the way it works. And so when you see a person that it doesn't follow that paradigm, well, this becomes a
no, he's going to do it. He's going to do it.
Problem now, right?
He wouldn't, he would never cell phone that hard. No.
And so it's an escalation. And so when you have the same thing happen to one person, it looks obviously biased. So again, it's his 6th ban after breaking a TOS so many times. It should have been a month or a promo. I mean, honestly, if he gets a 24-hour suspension, in my opinion, I think a 24-hour suspension will make this entire situation look a lot worse. And the reason why is because they will show that this is a person who was, you know, like, there are so many points on the graph for him promoting and supporting terrorism. Just straight up, flat out, plain English. There are too many examples of this happening. And the one thing that he does end up getting banned for is reading the manifesto of somebody else. Come on. I don't know why Twitch would do this. I think it was stupid for Twitch to ban him, especially if it was...
I'm hoping for him to circle back. Please, just 1 second.
Because now Twitch is basically confirming, hey, by the way, he is actually doing terrorist propaganda and he's discussing it. Like, what people are going to see and what the media is going to see is Hasan banned and improper handling of terrorist propaganda. That's what people are going to see. And that's what the headlines are going to be and everything like that. And you know what? Let's actually look it up right now. Hasan.
He didn't do it. Let me show you guys. Let me pull up the Daily Mail article. I'm actually like in awe. That was crazy. That was so crazy. Sorry for being cryptic. I wanted to wait to see if he would do it or not, and then he didn't do it. So I will inform all of you now. So he's criticizing Hasan. We're at 6:53. Chat, remember that.
Ron watched the entire tape. I found so when thinking and so like no, and I'm not guys, I was just talking and now I see it happening again, and he's saying, oh well, I was just talking about the motives of the Israeli embassy staff shooter. Guys, I don't believe that. I'm not going to just believe that right off the bat. Am I crazy for thinking this? I'm not going to.
One of the primary criticisms that has been brought to Hasan during the entirety of this ban was that he was trying to promote the false flag narrative. Here's the Daily Mail article yesterday that was uploaded. That's typing or that said left-wing streamer Hasan Piker has been banned from Twitch after claiming the terror attack looked like a false flag operation. And they proceed to use this quote, which is, you could not have designed a better false flag incident like this. I'm not saying it is a false flag at all. I'm not saying that. I think this is just one dude who was genuine in his actions, maybe a little bit brain broken, end quote. This is a quote from Hasan yesterday. And because of this, Hasan gets accused of pushing the false flag. I don't even know what you call it, conspiracy theory. All right. Then in the very next sentence,
I'm going to immediately believe.
In the very next sentence, sorry, narrative, you're right. Narrative was right.
This is what's happening. Yeah, how many points on the graph? Yeah, exactly. And so like no, and I'm not saying that he's lying either, but I'm not going to assume that he's telling the truth. This is like a conspiracy thing, right? But Hasan, if he takes days off, it's off.
Hold up, let me pull up the transcript on this section so I can just copy paste it so I can get his words accurate or accurately. 4:14 is when he starts. Hold up. Let me cook. I thought he was going to tie these 2 points in together in a way that made sense, and then he kind of didn't. Let me go ahead and play it now.
Often on Sundays. So he basically gets it. So let me get this straight. So he gets a suspension on his day that he was going to take off. And that and now he's going to come back. This gets a lot more people talking about him. It promotes him a lot more. And this is like, they banned him on Sunday. Right, exactly. Like, again, I'm not a conspiracy Andy, but if I was, I would be very upset right now. And so anyway, it's a ban for optics.
Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Why I thought he was going to link these 2 points together in a way that made sense, and then he fucking didn't, and he just like went along with it and then moved the fuck on. Literally, the major criticism that I've seen about Hasan covering the manifesto was that he was pushing it as a false flag to encourage more terrorism, which is insane. Given the fact that the quote that they're using is him saying, I'm not saying this is a false flag. I'm saying that I think this dude is genuine in his actions and maybe a little brain broken. Let's read his like personal beliefs on why he felt the need to do this, because I don't think that it's a false flag operation. Asmon sees this, says, base, this is it, folks, etc. Fails to address this point, fails to address the fact that he was covering it in a way that I believe was relatively respectful, relative to especially the way that he's covered other manifestos. in an attempt to show that it is not a false flag and that it's not a false flag operation, that this is a genuine dude who's brain broken about this stuff, genuine in his actions, whatever. And then I thought he was using this as like a tool to show his audience that in the same way that he is saying, I'm not saying this is a conspiracy that Hasan got banned on the Sunday, the most recent Sunday, the day that he is most likely to take off. I'm not saying that. But I think other people are saying that. I'm saying Twitch could not have designed a better day, a better ban to insist that he got, that it was like a inside job to give him a day off. I thought he was going to connect these 2 points in a way that like made sense. And then he like didn't do that. And then he just moved on and said, well, anyways, moving on. I don't think people like that he got banned for a day. Okay.
On banned. Let's read what people are typing. And let's see here, after sick comment, and this is, again, lefty influencer Hasan Piker kicked off Twitch after sick comments. Hasan banned after violating terrorist content policy. And so, and this is the thing, right? Is so now you have all of these articles that are being written that Hasan violated the terrorist content policy. Now, are these articles going to explain and contextualize what that policy is? Sure, maybe they will, but it won't matter. Because at that point, everybody will have already seen that he got banned for violating a terrorist policy. And after all of the other things that he's done that has been promotional of terrorists, I don't see how anybody can disagree with that. But how does that happen? VTubers get banned for the first time offense for 1 to 2 weeks if they show hips. Hasan's on a 6 ban and he doesn't even get 3 days. Really, no? Well, that's because he's getting, in my opinion, I think that it's very obvious that Hasan gets preferential treatment from Twitch.
I mean, yeah, the same way that every single large creator, Asmongold included, gets preferential treatment from Twitch.
I think it's very obvious.
The fact that the most recent ban was Asmon going fully in on Palestinians, and he only got 2 weeks for that, and hasn't gotten a ban for anything else that he's done in the past. Wait, has he caught a different ban? I just want to make sure. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that was the most recent ban. If anyone can correct me. The fact that out of all of the things that Asmongold has said in the past year, and he hasn't gotten banned for anything except the comments that he made about Palestinians, that is absolutely preferential treatment from Twitch.
They're baking him a cake. They're singing him happy birthday. Dan Clancy's saying he's...
Guys, do you think that they, like, get embarrassed that they don't ever have any counter arguments? Oh, wait. False flag. False flag operation. False flag operation. Friendly fire. My bad.
It's one of his favorite streamers. Hasan openly supports terrorism multiple times. Nothing ever happens. I mean, how many points on the graph do you need until you can draw a line? And this is also...
Gunner chat was about Asmongold's chat. You're right. I'm sorry. Betty B's, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. Your first message was very suspicious. My apologies. He openly said that he didn't give a fuck if Gazans get genocided, yet calls Hasan a terrorist. Yeah, okay.
So keep in mind, and just keep this in mind too, Erob banned 30 days. So Erob got banned for 30 days, and this was from yesterday. My ban is for 30 days. So Erob was banned for 30 days, and they blast Twitch over Erob's ban because he said that he was going to threaten to beat up a viewer at TwitchCon. Now, by the way, he didn't even do that. He just said, if I meet you, I'm going to beat you up or something like that, or I would beat your ass.
Yeah, that's bad. You don't want streamers threatening to beat up viewers. What the hell?
If I met you in real life. That's literally it. That's all he said, and he got a 30-day...
That's all he said. Dude, the conservative painting things out that seem Sorry, painting out reasonable things to make them seem unreasonable is so incredible. Apparently, sending money to your good friends just for being great friends is illegal now. Apparently, me sending hundreds of dollars to these 17-year-old women, girls, for being a great friend, and just because, is illegal now. It's like, you can't frame something that's insane and then pretend like it's not insane and be like, and that's it.
A suspension. That is insane. So the level of like logic with it.
But we do want them to suck off a Houthi terrorist on a live stream, am I right? There's no evidence that that kid is a Houthi terrorist. And when he was on the broadcast, that was before Houthis were designated as a terrorist organization by the United States.
This is just totally non-existent.
The kid explicitly stated that he's not a Houthi.
And
why would you, besides him saying that he explicitly said that he's not. What do you, huh?
Denims is streaming.
I think Twitch needs to, I think that they need to have
Oh, Acid Studio, thank you. Strum Dog, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Thank you.
a come to Jesus moment with somebody at Amazon or somebody doing this, because the decisions that
Are you a soldier? Yes. Do you think every U.S. soldier is a terrorist? Chat, don't answer that. I'm asking only him. I know what your answer is, chat. Stop. So, on Memorial Day, you would suggest that soldiers are terrorists. That's disgusting, dude. That's disgusting. Have some respect for our fucking troops. You disgusting piece of shit. Veterans are a protected class, you piece of fucking shit.
their moderation team is making is it's so flagrantly biased that it's going to drive away even more advertisers. And there's zero consistency.
Sorry, I keep pausing. I'm going to stop pausing and playing and pausing and playing. Denims is a lying piece of shit. Comparing Houthis to U.S. soldiers. You're so dishonest. Wrong. That's not what I was doing. I know literacy is hard and everything, but I'm dismantling an argument that this guy is making. That someone saying that they're a soldier is not enough evidence of them being a terrorist. I'm sorry that you can't follow something very simple.
Consistency, yeah.
All right, let's go back. You can look on, you can't read. Look on Twitter. He said he was. Please send me the tweet of him saying that I am a Houthi terrorist, please.
Team is making is it's so flagrantly biased that it's going to drive away even.
Sorry. Well, these chatters are actually responding quickly, so we'll take a pause from the video really quickly. He posted about killing Jews, dumbass. Do you know that that's different from being a Houthi terrorist? Do you understand that those are different things? You know who else posts about that? Nazis. Those are different groups. I understand that to you, everyone who's like brown is like the same type of terrorist, but like, that's not how these things work. That's just not. You're doing the equivalent of looking at like French people and calling them British because they're both European and white. I understand that you think that like different factions, especially different extremist factions that engage in terrorism, in your mind, they are the same, which is why people call Hezbollah ISIS. It's like, I understand that in your world, these are all the same. It's just Muslim terrorists. But these things are more complicated than you think that they are. Who said anything about Muslims? Oh my God. I know you people loves to say kill Zionists, but we all know you mean Jews. So you're hallucinating now, chatter. Now you're hallucinating? Houthis kill innocent and steal shit that isn't theirs. And I love how you brought race into it. Guys, we got a chatter that doesn't see race. He doesn't see color. Okay? Defending a terrorist organization. What a shock. You're actually just like having an extended like hallucination. I would never defend the IDF. Also, yeah, my favorite race, Muslim. I love the racial group of Muslims. Oh, God. Tatter, it's going to be okay. All right? Just turn around. Turn around. Just like, what does that guy say to Lenny? Look at the bunnies, all right? Just look at the pretty bunnies. All right. Just turn around. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Sorry, that chatter's not savable, guys. That chatter's not savable. If you're at the point where you're conflating Zionist and Jew, you're not savable. If you fundamentally think that anyone who ever uses the term Zionist obviously means Jewish, you've lost your marbles. The marbles are gone, people. They're gone. They're gone. I can't help you at that point. I can't help you. Also, this chatter. You said brown, dumbass. Ah, yes, the race of brown. That's not a racial group. Brown is not a racial group. What is wrong with you? Why would you get online and say this? What are even implying then? I'm going to be nice, chatter, okay? Because I believe in you. I believe in you, all right? I was explaining the point that you can't just look at any brown kid on the internet that has a gun that's from the Middle East and assume they are part of a terrorist organization. That there are multiple organizations designated by the United States as terrorist organizations that often disagree and fight with each other. That was the purpose of bringing that up. Yemen has the second highest per capita gun ownership in the world. Guess behind who? Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to find a good article on this. Like, this is one good example. Chatter, genuine question. Yeah, we all know that, but that wasn't the context you used with the last chatter. That's the point I'm making. It absolutely was. It absolutely was. Genuine question. Do you think Hamas, and chat, don't give him the answer to this. Don't give him the answer to this. Do you think Hamas and ISIS should be treated the same? That's one question. Second question, do you think that they agree with each other and act and work together for their goals? Oh, we got a different chatter. Sure, we can engage with this chatter. If you defend the Houthis, you're defending a terrorist organization. He's not wrong. What do you think about Putin assassination attempt? Yes, definitely. They both want to abolish Western civilization. So do you think that they work together? Do you think they work together to abolish Western civilization? Like they're like partners in this goal. So did they respond? They don't work together, but they have the same goals. Do you know that you're wrong? Here's an article from Politico. You don't have to believe me. It's okay. I get it. Who the fuck am I? I'm just some lady. That's fine. Do you want to disagree with the journalist at Politico? Yet it must be said that Hamas is not ISIS. There are far more differences between the two groups, and there are similarities. Acknowledging this reality is critical. Only when it's understood how Hamas really works and what it's aiming for will it be possible to confront the group in a way that will help Israel regain its security and ultimately end the war. This is a pro-Israel piece, making a distinction between Hamas and ISIS. This is this is the only way that Israel will regain its security and end the war. This is a pro-Israel piece, making a distinction between Hamas and ISIS and saying there are far more differences between the groups than similarities. If you are at the point where you see a brown kid holding a gun and assume they clearly hate Western civilization, they're clearly all working together to destroy Western civilization, you are fried, and you are doing the equivalent of going to France and being like, you guys are basically all British. You are fundamentally not understanding these conflicts, oversimplifying them, and then pretending to be correct to people who've actually done any research on these topics at all. You should take a step inward or take a look inward and notice that maybe you're a little out of your depth on these topics. Your understanding of them is very shallow, very surface level, and maybe there's more stuff that you don't know. Like Hamas and ISIS are not the same. They are fundamentally different, and worse yet, and if you had known anything about these organizations, you would have immediately been able to clock what I was doing, which is why everyone in chat was writing Pepe La. Frequently shared statements conflating the two organizations miss a very important point. Hamas is neither affiliated with ISIS, nor have these two organizations collaborated in the past. Rather, the opposite is true. ISIS is a vicious opponent of Hamas, and both groups have repeatedly spoken out against each other. You want to speak on the topic of the Houthi terrorists. You want to speak on Hamas. You want to speak on Israel, but you refuse to do any research at all to see that these organizations are not what you think that they are. Are they terrorist organizations? Yes, no one is arguing that. But we're saying you can't just point at a random kid in Yemen who's holding a gun and be like, obviously terrorist. He said he's a soldier, obviously a terrorist, because that's an oversimplification of a topic you don't know anything about. And it's embarrassing, and you should feel a little bit of embarrassment about that. At least just a smidge. And maybe you should be more cautious when you, in the same way that, like, I don't go to Europe and point at everyone I see and say, like, Go to Germany, you're a French person, basically. I mean, you guys look basically the same. You're eating a croissant. That's basically being a French person. This is the equivalent of going in the United States, seeing a white Southern guy with a gun and being like, oh, you're one of those Proud Boy Nazis, aren't you? You can't point at someone who fits a specific stereotype and then assume all these other things that don't exist. That's not a reasonable worldview to have.
At Amazon or somebody doing this.
This is so cute. Can't wait for Asmon to shut you down. Asmon's literally too much of a coward to talk to anyone who disagrees with him.
Because the decisions that their moderation team is making is it's so flagrantly biased that it's going to drive away even more advertisers. And there's zero consistency. Yeah, all I want is consistency. If this thing is against the rules, then it should have been against the rules every single time. So yeah, that's really it. Didn't Tectone get a 2-week ban for calling a person fat? Yes, Tectone got, and this is another thing, right? Is that Tectone got suspended for 2 weeks for calling Frogan fat. Like, in what universe is calling a person fat worse than promoting terrorism, right? I mean, this is...
Nope. That's not what those bans mean. You can do things that are morally abhorrent, but they aren't against Twitch TOS. Do you think, so if someone gets exposed for cheating on somebody else in the Twitch space and they don't get banned, does that mean Twitch says, we love cheating, we're Twitch and we endorse cheating on your significant other? Obviously not. The bans are targeted to ideally end that behavior as best as possible. People are way more likely to engage in targeted harassment, which is what I believe that Twitch eventually ended up banning Tectone for, targeted harassment of Frogan, someone who wasn't fighting back, just over and over again, repeatedly, than they are to read a manifesto.
It's just, again, it's like, there's no reasoning to this at all. There's no logic to this at all.
You're just mad because you couldn't possibly reach this viewer account. You're on the wrong side of the argument, Denims. So you can't argue it at all, but you're sure that you're right. Famously, people with high view counts are the best people. That's true. This is actually correct. You are more correct when you have more viewers. That's actually how it works legally. I mean, take a look at Alex Jones. He had tens of thousands of viewers. Oh, wait, he got sued for billions of dollars and then had to sell his company, InfoWars. Oh. Just ignore that.
Oh, and also, by the way, I don't even support calling her fat. Like, I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, I think Frogan's lost weight recently. Good for her. Like, I don't have anything negative to say about her body. I try not to do that, even if people do that to me. But the fact is that, like, there is an inversion of logic that makes no sense to, I think, a reasonable person. And this is...
There's no inversion of logic.
What I said, right? Fat shaming works. So I don't know. I don't want to, again, I don't want to get into that. And anyway, so this is what I said about it. I said 24-hour suspensions serve no purpose and act more often as a reward than punishment through the extra attention they create. Why ban for critiquing a terrorist manifesto, but not for endorsement? Is endorsing terrorism against the terms of service, but promoting terrorism isn't? Make it make sense.
The way that he read it like he was cooking. Intelligence lies with the majority, Denims. Literacy rate, United States. Low English literacy adults, 66%. born in the US. All adults, 85%. It's okay. We can find a different source. Maybe Wikipedia. Maybe this one. Oh. 54% of adults within the ages of 16 and 74 years old lack proficiency in literacy, essentially reading below the equivalent of a 6th grade level. Intelligence lies with the majority. You tell them. You tell them. America #1. You tell them, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's it. And zero purpose now. Exactly. Yeah, there's no logic in this. There's no reasoning in this at all. Your Twitch would be shut.
Not 100% sure your audience is American. Sorry, I'm not 100% sorry. I'm sure not 100% of your audience is American. I don't know. Now my literacy rate is down. What does my audience being American have to do with anything? Hmm? I'm criticizing this chatter, not this one. The chatter who said intelligence lies with the majority. Clearly, this guy's an American. Americans have, the majority of Americans can't read at a fucking 6th grade level. He was trying to say that chatter is illiterate from another country. I mean, it doesn't matter again whether, first of all, no, this is an American. This is an American. 100% this is an American. Guys. I know an American hog when I see one. Okay. Oh no. Guys, no. Ah! Look, it's happening in real time. Ah! Ah! Oh my God. Ah! Chatter, you literally can't read. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. Ah! I weigh 140. I'm not fat, LMAO. Must be bait at this point. Press play.
Down because of it? Well, I don't know about me, right? I'm just saying.
Can you explain the title? I thought Asmongold was pretty sincere. I think it used to be sincere. I think he's fried now. Personally, I think he's fried. I think he's become beholden to his audience to a point where, like, there's, like, kind of no return. And I think he just kind of gives them what they want to hear. Can you explain how? That's for a different stream. What are you trying to prove here? This chatter said, intelligence lies with the majority. I'm bringing up the fact that the majority isn't necessarily intelligent by showing that the majority of Americans can't read at a fucking 6th grade level. It doesn't matter that more people believe something. That's not where intelligence lies. Intelligence doesn't lie with, like, the numbers. That's not how that works. As evidenced by this very sad, pathetic statistic that is real. Doesn't matter how many people believe something. It doesn't magically make it true. It doesn't matter if a lot of people believe something. It doesn't mean that that's the intelligent thing to believe. The vast majority of people believed that the sun revolved around the earth. And when someone suggested that wasn't accurate, they fucking like, they hated this guy, dude. They wanted this guy to die. Like the idea that intelligence lies with the masses is like, it's so fundamentally wrong that I think you can just prove it just by showing this stat. Who the hell says intelligence lies with the masses? I mean, this guy. Right? Like, he literally didn't understand why I brought up this statistic. Like, that's how dumb this poor chatter is. This poor guy. He saw me bring this up and he's like, what could this possibly mean? I don't understand. And then said, ages 60 to 74. Who the fuck in this chat is over 60? Because he couldn't read that it said 16. And then insists that he's right. Isn't it sad, guys? Isn't it sad? All right, I'll move on. I really do feel bad for you, chatter, okay? I'm praying to God that you're just like procrastinating your math homework. And that's why your sentences don't make any sense, okay?
In general. And banning him for 30 days without...
Sorry, to elaborate. You're finishing your math homework because you're a teenager. And your sentences don't make sense because you're a teenager. Okay. Only when talking about Asmongold do I have to make every point as clearly as possible, because things that otherwise people would understand, they suddenly just like don't understand. Oh no, don't say that. Don't say that. What a dumb bitch. You're a dumb bitch. Do you think you're convincing anyone? Do you think you're convincing anyone? I'm 33. Don't share that information. It doesn't make you look good. It doesn't. You know that that's worse, right? "33-year-old, 140-pound chatter being proud of watching Asmongold. I say this as a 33-year-old. Yikes. You're spitting 2T Goblin 1. Anyways, okay, back to the stream.
Vetting what the user said to him is insane. No, actually, I don't think so. I think making a threat that you're going to hit somebody and beat somebody up should require immediate action with no, there should not be... Like, I unironically believe in a zero tolerance policy for that, unless you're referring to it in self-defense. I do, and the reason why, and also, even if you disagree with me on this morally or ethically, it's really for a legal reason, right? Like, we can all agree, like, you can't have that, like, where people are saying this stuff, and, like, especially if it's, like, a person that's, like, you know, like, technically an independent contractor, but you're still employing, like, you can't have that. And so they had to do that to E-Rob, in a way, but in game. But what I'm saying is, like, that's really it, right? And that's what I think. Promoting terrorism is a fake complaint. Well, that's what's funny about it, right? Is that promoting terrorism is a fake complaint, but endorsing it isn't. So, L, you're actually right, and that's what's so crazy. Is that? But do you see the logic in why that's ridiculous? Like, because I know you were the one who was disagreeing with me. I just want you to see where I'm coming from with this. Is that, don't you see how ridiculous it is that you can have a rule on the books that says you can't even show a manifesto, but you can promote an organization that's labeled a terror organization? Like, do you see the lapse in logic here?
What he just said didn't make any sense.
They're like, and no, and I'm not, no, by the way, there's nothing wrong with this person. This person's fine. Both should get you a ban. Oh, both should get you a ban, or neither should get you a ban. But if one of them gets you a ban, it should certainly be supporting the terrorist group. Okay? I don't know how anybody doesn't see it that way, man. I don't. And so he showed literal explicit terrorist propaganda before it. He did. And he never said, wait, typing, that's fine. And anyway, it's bullshit because they probably agree with the manifesto. I don't know whether they agree with it or not. I'm not going to say that. I think that's extreme. But my point is that coverage on a terror recruiting video is still supporting. I disagree with that. I completely disagree with that. That's like me saying watching a video of September 11th is covering it, is supporting it. No, I find that to be ridiculous. And so can't show the manifesto, but you can promote the group the manifesto belongs to. Yeah, exactly. It's so silly.
I'm not pausing because it's just him repeating the same shit over and over again, which I've already talked about, which is that the kid was not he is not a Houthi terrorist. He's never said he's a Houthi terrorist. He also had the interview before Houthis were designated as a terrorist organization in the United States. It's like, these are just not the same. These are just not, this is not promoting, it is not promoting terrorism to bring someone on who is not a terrorist to talk about the issues in Yemen, to talk about how they feel about the Houthis when they haven't even been designated as a terrorist organization. And then after the fact say, well, look, he's promoting terrorism. Like, that's not accurate. This is not an accurate retelling of events.
And so, no shit. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no logic to this. And all I want, why didn't you read the whole post? Wait, did I not? I thought I did. Yeah, is there something I missed? I don't think I missed anything. But anyway, I'll read obviously what he said about it on Twitter, etc., and see kind of what's going on. Where is he? Why they didn't even tag him? Oh, right, because he has Yeet ban. That's right. That makes sense. All right. So basically, he got suspended, and this is the original post right here. It got 40,000 likes. Do you think the Free Palestine movement is inherently wrong? No, I actually think the people in Gaza are being brutalized. I would have no money supporting or raising money for them even. I think that they're also, like, I actually feel worse for them than the Israelis in a way.
Go back.
The people in Gaza are being brutalized. I would have no money supporting or raising money for them even.
Not as Chad saying, by Hamas.
I think that they're also, like, I actually feel worse for them than the Israelis in a
and people in his chat writing W.
way. And here's why. The Israeli government doesn't kill you for protesting against them. Hamas does.
You think that the people in Gaza are worse off not because of the hundreds of thousands dead, not because the lack of medical supplies, food, clean water, electricity, prosthetic limbs, not because they don't have their homes, they don't have schools, they don't have hospitals, not because they are treated as subhuman, not because some of these people are losing their families, they're losing their limbs, if not their lives. You think they're worse off because of people protesting Hamas and being persecuted. That's the reason why. That's the not all the death and destruction. Not all the how many bombs have been dropped? How many Israeli shells have been dropped on? Was it the UN that had to create a new term for children in Gaza? It couldn't possibly be the fact that there are 14,000 babies that will die in the next 48 hours unless we can reach them with aid trucks. It can't, this isn't why the Gazans are worse off. It's okay. Okay. Personally, I would say when we have to create a new acronym because of the suffering, occurring in a region, I would say that that acronym is a good reason why the situation is worse. Wounded child, no surviving family was the acronym that had, well, WCNSF is the new acronym because of the sheer number of children that have been maimed and had no family because their family was killed. I would say that's why they're worse off than the Israelis. Personally, I would say that that's the reason. We've had to invent new acronyms for the levels of destruction occurring in that region. I would say that should be the reason that you think that they're worse off. But I mean, okay.
So these people in Gaza are being oppressed by Israel, and they're being oppressed by their own paramilitary terrorist organization, pseudo-government. They're living in hell. That's my opinion. That's my genuine opinion about it.
I mean, this is the same American talking point that we use to pretend like China isn't beating our ass. It's, yeah, well, the Chinese government is very authoritarian. You know, if you say things that they don't like.
With my credit card on this beautiful Monday evening.
If they send you, if you say something that they don't like, if you make fun of President Xi Jinping, they'll send you to a concentration camp. They'll send you to a re-education camp. They'll send you to a labor camp. And then when we do the same shit here, it's like, those people deserved it. Maybe you should say things that the emperor likes. Did you consider that? And no, you will not be getting good infrastructure. And no, you will not be getting good education. And no, you will not be getting any type of healthcare.
I really support them. I absolutely support them. And I wish that more and more people would be able to distinguish the difference between Hamas and Palestinians. Anyway, let's move on. My point is, yeah, Israel doesn't oppress them. Israel does not actively kill people who protest against Israel in Israel. They don't actively kill Israeli citizens as openly, at least, as Hamas does. Right? Yes, they do. No, they do not. You can.
There's literally video footage of people being arrested in Israel for having pro-Palestinian sentiment on their social media.
Find plenty of people that are protesting against Israel and Israel. The people that are protesting against Hamas in Palestine end up being killed. That's
functionally, that free speech doesn't matter if the second you say anything pro-Palestinian, you get fucking arrested by the IDF. Functionally, you don't have free speech. If you're allowed to criticize your government, but you're not allowed to say anything pro-Palestinian ever, that's not, you don't have real free speech. You have some free speech on the things that they are okay with you doing. That's not free speech.
Just the truth. If you actually think that there's any parity here, you are totally brain broken. Anyway, let's move on, because you're asking me what my opinion is. That is my genuine, honest, real opinion about it. And I think also, actually, you know what? Like, I'll leave it at that. That's what I think.
Protesting for hostages is fine. Trying to stand with Gaza is what gets you picked out. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's really it. Okay, let's see here. And I'll read a few more of these. Opinion, but you aren't right? Sure. I mean, everybody's going to have different opinions. I don't want to argue about people with this. This is just the way that I see it. And Saudi Arabia, famous hater of terror attacks on U.S. soil. Saudi Arabia puts out a statement condemning the terror attack in D.C. Yes, Hasan, that's correct. Maybe it is a better idea that instead...
Israeli soldiers shoot and kill an American woman during a West Bank protest. Israeli soldiers killed an American woman participating in an anti-settlement protest in the West Bank on Friday. Another protester who witnessed the shooting told the Associated Press 2 doctors said she was shot in the head. The self-owning is crazy. It's like actually insane that Asmongold can get on air and be like, yeah, in Israel, they let you have free speech. And then you can immediately Google this and find instances of Israel killing American citizens for participating in anti-settlement protests. like I'm a Palestinian citizen of Israel. I can tell you for sure we cannot criticize or protest the government. LMAO.
Of looking at the original sin of Saudi Arabia previously endorsing terrorist attacks and doing this, that we try to move past that and we establish a diplomatic relationship with them so these things stop happening. Okay, like that's just me, right? Rather than fucking just, I mean, ever since 9/11, we've been fucking at some proxy war in the Middle East somewhere. Well, this has gotten us fucking nowhere. It's gotten fucking nowhere. And also, by the way, Osama bin Laden got kicked the fuck out of Saudi Arabia. So I'm not going to completely blame them either. Yeah, they didn't even like him. And so anyway, let's see here. Previously, it's the same guy sitting in power here, brother. Well, this guy wasn't sitting in power in the same way he was back then. That's crazy. He wasn't even old enough to do that. He's trying to shit on Saudi Arabia for condemning the attack, but he still hasn't condemned it. Yes, exactly. And this is the problem, is that so now Hasan is trying to condemn Saudi Arabia.
Dude, I wish my life was so simple.
For condemning or shit on Saudi Arabia for condemning the attack. I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I mean, I'm sure Hasan probably said killing them was wrong, right? I'm sure he did say that. But, I mean, isn't that a good thing? I mean, can't we just all make sure that we're on the same page here? Yeah, it's so weird. And Classic, yes, surely he did. Well, listen, guys. I know this might sound crazy, okay? But I try not to just make shit up about people without being certain about it. I know. There's other people out there that do that a lot. But
It's too good. It's too good to not save.
listen, guys. I know this might sound crazy, okay? But I try not to just make shit up about people without being certain about it. I know. There's other people out there that do that a lot. But I actually try to make sure that I don't just randomly make shit up about people. And so I wouldn't say that myself until I was sure of it. So, yeah.
Chatter said I used to like Asmon a lot, but now he's a complete misleading. You and a lot of people, man. You and a lot of people. We are all very privileged. I don't know why we're acting like victims. No one here is acting like a victim. People understand that they're privileged and they're using their privilege to speak on issues that are important to them or issues that matter. Being able to stream, being able to get on air and talk about stuff and have this fake job, that is an insane privilege. And I'm going to use my privilege to talk about genocide. I'm going to use my privilege to highlight stories of Israel committing a genocide. No one here is under any delusion about the privilege that is on display.
I wonder who it is. Yeah, and that's what I tried to do. You spent 35 minutes and are still speculating, though? Of course I'm speculating. Every blue check power farmer is an Israel dick rider on this website. Everybody... Number one.
When he just played games, it was fun when we laughed at him molding. Now it's legit damaging whenever he goes live. Sag. That's how I feel about, not Asmon. That's how I feel about XQC, dude. I'm like... He's savable, dude. He's savable. And I think he's savable for one reason and one reason only. He hires people to help him keep his space clean. The sign of normalcy. The sign of the possibility of being normal. Anti-woke mind virus? Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, the anti-woke mind virus hit XQC.
One, Feared Buck. This is a guy that just tweeted out, Hasan has been banned. And this isn't like, I mean, this is.
Oh, dude, the mold is like giving me a migraine. Ow. I've been doing this because I'm getting like, you know when you feel your migraine and like in your nose? Like, and now it's like spreading to my forehead and like to the back of my head. It's like actually giving me a headache. Ah.
Didn't he post this photo? This isn't like a
Traveling
bad photo
up.
of him. It's not like the
The scarlet rot is traveling.
photo
Ah.
of him being bald or like him looking stupid or anything like that. The like shrunken head. No, it's just literally a photo of Hasan saying Hasan was banned. And now Hasan's calling this guy an Israel dick rider. What the fuck does this have to do with Israel? What? I don't even
Could it possibly be any of the other posts that this character has made?
understand this. And also, by the way, there's a lot of people that are not fans of Hasan's behavior that are not Israel dick riders. They just disagree with what he's saying. It's not crazy. Like, I don't understand this. He's completely delusional. Yeah, I don't know what this is. But anyway, is so aggro on everyone. Yeah, of course he is. I mean, I'd be mad too, of course. But that's really how I see it. And anyway, let's go back over here. This is Taylor Lorenz. What is this? Ethan. Nobody gives a fuck about this. Anyway, let's see. We'll scroll down here. UAE, country led below sympathy. And now he's like retweeting other stuff like this. One day, every day that goes by, more people realize the truth. The very same institutions that spent countless hours defending and contextualizing Israel's genocide. Yeah, deplatforming all you like. You can't change what people have seen. Oh my God. The funny thing is that like almost all of the people that he's at war with actually agree with this sentiment. Like almost everybody agrees with like I mean, I know I agree with it. Ethan agrees with it. Who doesn't think that I think a lot of people see that. Yeah, now the actual
Do I need to pull up the fucking video of all the people that agree? Because it's not a good collection of people.
crash had started. I don't know.
It's a very judge me by my enemy group of people.
I think that this is just simply another example of Hasan using this cause as a justification for bad behavior, basically, right? And you see this happen all the time.
Hasan is using the genocide as a way to talk about the Israeli embassy shooters manifesto, which literally he says free Palestine afterward. These two things are inextricably linked. Like, huh? It's not playing the genocide card if the shooter's motives were about Gaza and freeing Palestine.
Somebody that is pro-Palestine does something bad, and now they get suspended, and they're criticized, and people are criticizing, oh, well, you're banning pro-Palestinian voices. That's not what's happening here. Being pro-Palestine or being pro-Palestinian is not a diplomatic immunity card from any degree of accountability from anything else besides that. I don't know why we're trying to play this game. It's outrageous that we're trying to play this game. And so...
Sorry. Your profile picture fried me a little. I think Asmongold is totally fine. I don't agree with everything he says. Maybe like 80-20 ratio on things that I do. All right, chat. We're gonna be polite. We're gonna be polite, okay? We're gonna be polite. Everyone in here, we're gonna behave and we're gonna be polite. I think if you were exposed to more content that showed all of the instances of Asmongold just blatantly lying about things, you would disagree. And I think this is a position, I think this chatter is pretty normal. Okay? I think this is a normal chatter. I think this is a normal person. But I think that they don't understand that, like, you can only think this when you don't know that half of the shit that Asmongold says is just, like, blatantly lying. He's just blatantly lying.
Yeah, it's not a blank check. And so anyway, talking so scary, well, I don't know. I don't think it's really that crazy. And why are you talking about Hasan? Well, because he just got banned. He literally just got suspended, and he's one of the biggest streamers on the platform, right? And so obviously I'm going to talk about this and like whether I think it's fair or not and everything. But yeah, I mean, of course, absolutely. Right? I mean, yeah, 100%. There's also nothing to going on until next, what we got? We got maybe 28 more minutes until the show starts. So I got a little bit of time, and so we can get into it. And glaze Trump more. You understand that, like, I don't really glaze Trump necessarily. And this is also, we have somebody right here, right? I mean,
Okay, unfortunately, I don't know anything at all about World of Warcraft because I only play and played MMOs that had big, juicy, beautiful women in them. So I can't comment on the accuracy of this, but maybe other people can. I use ChatGPT, I don't like AI, to try and create a comparison to the genocide happening in Gaza to something similar in World of Warcraft in an effort to try and make the words easier for someone like Asmongold to understand. The TLDR of the prompt is, if Asmongold can understand the night elves and their plight, then he can understand the Palestinians, their resistance to genocide. His lying and cognitive dissonance is scary. I can post the link if you want. All good if not. I would ask you to, but again, I don't know anything about World of Warcraft. Everything I know about World of Warcraft is from Heroes of the Storm. Okay? I never got into American MMOs, okay? I only ever got into Korean MMOs. And then I swore them off because I was way too addicted.
as have I given your opinion on the Qatari jet yet? This is about the jet. Oh my God. Exactly. So why should we put this on? The thing is, bro, like, glazing Trump is not even what's happening. Like, I'm not even glazing at anything. I'm just saying, like, if he does something I agree with, I'm going to say that I agree with it. Like, I'm sorry. If that's upsetting for you, then that's not my problem. But anyway, so yeah, you already call it all sides, just depends on the topic. Yeah, I do. And anyway, so the journalist that was in the Oval Office during that interview, yeah, I forgot who it was or what day that was, but it was something that was like really, really stupid about that. So yeah, I think so. But anyway, let's go back. We're going to look at this hate watching. And ironically, yeah, why do you hate watch? Like, if you don't like the stream and you're watching and you're trying to argue, you're just going to end up getting banned. And there's like, that's it. You're not allowed to agree with Trump ever. You know this clearly. And anyway, stop glazing Asman. We know you like Trump a little bit too much. Well, I like Trump more than I like Biden. I'll tell you that. Absolutely. I think he's way more entertaining, at least. So anyway, let's go back to this. I do not think that it makes sense that you should get suspended even if you simply talk about a manifesto or if you show a video of a terrorist event happening. I don't think it makes any sense. I don't. And it doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Now, is that what Hasan did? I don't know.
How can people hear this sentence and be like, this is a guy I want to listen to? This is the shit that, like, throws me off. This is the shit that confuses me. If I heard this from someone I was trying to listen to, who I was trying to formulate opinions about the world by listening to this person, and I heard the sentence, I would close that stream and I would never, ever, ever look back.
I don't think it makes any sense.
Like, listen to this.
And it doesn't make any sense. Now, is that what Hasan did? I don't know. Based off of his previous actions and the way that he lies, I think the probability is that that's not what he did.
Is that not a crazy thing to say? Is it not crazy to just, like, admit to your audience that you don't know this thing because you're too lazy to look it up and you don't respect their intelligence enough and you know that that's what they want to hear? So you say this publicly and then you say, but I can just assume the worst case scenario because I know that's what you guys want me to believe. Like, this is brain melting. The second somebody's I don't know. Can we normalize calling him Voldemort? No, it gives him too much power.
He did. Well, listen, guys. I know this might sound crazy, okay? But I try not to just make shit up about people without being certain about it.
Asman is consistently inconsistent on his own opinions.
And it doesn't make any sense. Now, is that what Hasan did? I don't know. Based off of his previous actions and the way that he lies, I think the probability is that that's not what he did. But we don't know that.
You guys don't understand. He just made an assumption. It's different. He suggested an assumption to his primed audience. It's very different. As if they aren't a fucking hair away. You could also just like, I don't know, just like watch his coverage and then come to your opinion. It's so crazy.
I think you're a bunch of Hasan viewers in your chat now. He's banned. Well, of course, right? I mean, welcome, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Welcome to the right side, by the way. Sorry, I mean the correct side. About everything, obviously. Now, permaban him? Yeah, exactly. And so, like, that's really where I would say it. And anyway, yeah, the right, yes, clearly. And the most humble, yes, you're right. And anyway, so yeah, I think it's probably just going to be for one day. And so here's what's going to happen, is that after Hasan gets unbanned, everybody is going to call into question, why is it that X, Y, and Z person got unbanned, or sorry, got banned for a longer...
But they already do that anyways all the time. That's already what happens anyways. When Hasan doesn't get banned, they say it's preferential treatment. When he gets banned, they say it's preferential treatment. Well, he didn't get banned for long enough. He should have gotten banned for longer. He could get a 3-month ban. He could get a 6-month ban. He could get a 9-month ban. And they'll be like, he should never be unbanned. He should get a perma ban. Like, it's not like there's any satisfaction. So why would you appeal to those people anyways? They're not reasonable people.
Period of time. But Hasan got banned, and he blatantly showed all of this bad stuff. You see what I'm saying? Isn't that technically true because it's spreading propaganda, even if you don't agree, as in visibility? I think that if you are so afraid that, like, even criticizing propaganda is problematic because some people might see it and say, oh my God, now I believe this. I feel like if your ideals are that fragile, they deserve to die. That's what my actual opinion is. Like, if your ideals are so weak that even showing somebody something while you're actively disagreeing with it, and this is somehow going to convince people, no, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah.
This is gold mine, dude.
Yeah, you show racist black fatigue every day.
I'm just repeating myself over and over again with the same criticisms over and over again because that's what the whole video is.
That's why it's Asmongold. No, you're trying to. I have racist black fatigue, right? Is this another one? Now you're mad and going around, and this is by the way, this is what you call mental illness, okay? Somebody catches you and this is actual mental illness. Like, I understand that you're unhappy about the what.
Famously, Asmongold's chat never does this ever, and didn't just do this in my chat like 5 minutes ago.
What I'm saying, right? But you legitimately need help, man. You've got
the roach farmer
to get help. This is bad. This is way beyond just disagreeing. This is crazy. You're being a nutball, man. What's wrong with you? Get some help before things get worse, man. Yeah, that's it. And anyway, wow, what a weirdo. But anyway, it's guys represent us potato enjoyers. It's just an idiot, right? I mean,
oh God, the XQCification of Asmongold. What?
I mean, that's really all there is to it. Probably some stupid kid. But like, that's really all there is to it. Yeah, I don't have black fatigue. I have retard fatigue. And yeah, clearly, right? And so anyway, that's pretty much what it is. Pitbull, thanks for the 5 subs. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. When Hasan puts it on emote only mode and the chat shows hearts while Hasan is reading the manifesto, do you think that's supporting terrorism? I think that it is very obvious that Hasan has cultivated an audience of people that are in some ways sympathetic towards terrorist organizations.
Dude, it's so easy to be an anti-Hasan farmer. You just call him a terrorist, say everything that he does is terrorism, say his entire audience sympathizes with terrorists. You never provide any proof of any of these things. And that's it. And that's it. And then you did it.
It is undeniable that that's true. Whenever you're reading a manifesto of a murderer and people are putting hearts in chat, you have a problem. And these, again, if I remember right, the hearts were his own emotes. So this isn't like it's some kind of false flag. Oh, it's Destiny's community coming in here and making me look bad. These are his own emotes.
And we're just going to ignore what was being read on the screen. They always say this shit, and then you pull up the actual clip, and it's him saying, like, I believe that, you know, Gazans shouldn't have to suffer under Israeli occupation. I don't believe that Palestinians in the West Bank should suffer under Israeli occupation. I believe, you know, it is our responsibility from the international community, from my perspective, we have a responsibility to help these people. And then, like, the chat saying, like, Has L. And it's like, what? Huh? When Asmongold went to public places on stream, those places would get doxxed and hounded by phone calls from his stream. This is just how it is. No self-reflection from his own community. Well, that's also the problem of having like a predominantly younger community. It's a lot of people who don't like understand the consequences of their actions, and they don't really understand that like the parasocial nature of their relationship with the content creator that they like. And they'll try and reframe it and say like, oh, yeah, well, your audience is a bunch of young people. And every time I consistently poll my audience, we have like sub 2% under 21. Like this, I know, crazy. A streamer that primarily does political content has a primarily adult audience. I know, wild. And most people aren't interested in like 30, 40-minute long videos about fiscal policy in China or whatever. Maybe most people aren't interested. Maybe most youngins aren't interested in hearing me blab about this crazy thing, by the way, that happened. I meant to talk about it a little bit earlier. A provocative march by right-wing Israelis raises tensions in Jerusalem. Right-wing Israelis chant anti-Arab slogans and march through Palestinian areas as they mark Jerusalem Day. I know it's crazy. Like the average like teenager doesn't really have a lot of interest in a topic like this. Wild, wacky. Insane. So, yeah.
That they're using. So, I mean, really, this is your, yeah, the Kaya hearts, exactly. Yeah, you're the one who's promoting this stuff. And so should someone be permabanned for doing that? No, I think Twitch should find the people that are doing it on Twitch and they should ban them themselves. They should ban the viewers. I don't think that it's Hasan or...
And so Asmon's audience is young too, or... Well, Asmon doesn't really engage with politics in the same way that other content creators engage with politics, right? It's very superficial, and it's evidence that it's evidence of it being superficial is just like watch his videos on tariffs. Like literally go back. None of them have aged well because none of them were accurate, because none of them were based on actual economic policy. He insists that this is Trump's art of the deal, and we are going to get manufacturing back to the United States. And then Trump, and he says, obviously, Trump has to tariff Vietnam. He has to tariff Taiwan. He has to tariff Japan, because otherwise China will just move production to these countries, which is, spoiler alert, exactly what happened because Trump removed the tariffs on everyone except China. Like, they're opinions that come from appealing to the masses and nothing else. There is no fundamental analysis, or even just like looking at authorities, figures of authority, talking about these issues. Like, it's not watching a video from like Gary's Economics and trying to understand why Gary thinks this thing, or why he thinks this economic policy is worse or this economic policy is worse. It's, I believe Trump, so I'm going to parrot what I think Trump would like me to would like to hear from someone like me. Right? And this is the same for all of the issues that he talks about, right? I mean, God forbid somebody show the clip of him saying that those books on like queer theory were burned because they were on queer theory. His statement was they were written in Jewish. Jewish is not a language. Okay, whatever. Maybe he was trying to think of Hebrew or Yiddish, which wouldn't make any sense either, but let's just go along with it for a second. They weren't. They were written in German. They were not burned because they were Jewish. They were burned because they were about queer things. Because it was inherent to Nazi Germany beliefs that we should have one specific ideal: Aryan, straight, cis. Everything outside of that was not, and also eugenics, able-bodied garbage. Everything outside of that was to be destroyed and to be purged. And again, it's like, it's this over and over and over and over and over and over again. Right? He has like this steadfast position. He's got this position that he speaks on, or like he'll have like a topic that he speaks on with certainty, only like for 15 minutes later for him to say, I don't know, I didn't watch it, or I don't know anything about this, I'm just watching the video, which is way more appealing to a younger audience, like people who don't actually want to sit there and like engage with the intricacies of like Hamas and ISIS and the differences between them, and why even pro-Israel people don't believe that you should conflate the two. That's a little bit more boring. That's a little bit less slop. A younger audience is going to be less interested in that. So yeah, I do think that that's true. Okay.
Or my responsibility to ban every person in chat for saying something problematic. But I think that, again, whenever you do enough things and all of these things point to the same outcome.
Sorry. And yet he's the #1 political streamer, LMAO. Yeah, and the requirement for that is just to talk about politics. It doesn't require anything else. You guys are capable of understanding this concept when criticizing me, right? I mean, 90% of the criticisms that I get from Asmongold fans, I would say, are largest female political streamer, but she doesn't know anything. LOL. You can't understand it about Asmongold. It doesn't matter if he knows something or not. You just have to talk about politics to be a political streamer. You are capable of understanding this again when you insult people you don't like. You surely should be able to understand it about someone you like and why other people would levy this criticism. Yeah? When you speak, think if you're speaking to yourself. I think the literacy rates might be worse than the recent stats. I think you might be right. I think you might be right. Ban him. He's trying to kill you by giving you a stroke writing that. My headache just got worse, dude.
You have to, at a certain point, hold a person at least a little bit accountable and say, hey, bro, at least can you admit that this is what's happening, right? So, yeah. Anyway, we've got another one right here. Another argument here is that this is, if you're not on the Free Palestine side, you're on the wrong side. History will judge, not me. You have an inflated opinion of yourself. History isn't going to judge you at all. History doesn't know who you are. You're going to die and nobody will remember your name. The same as ever.
He didn't say that. This chatter didn't say anything like that. Huh? This guy knows that he's not a relevant person. He's talking about you, Asmongold, someone who millions of people know. And someone who should be more concerned. He's talking about public characters, public personas, public figures. History is not going to judge random people who were not public figures. They will judge public figures. He's not trying to say that he is somebody. It's like, it's hurting my brain how many people both in Asmongold's community, but Asmongold himself, that will react to something or respond to something that is making one very clear, succinct point, and then insist that it's saying something totally different. The headache is getting worse, dude. I think the goal is to get me to have a stroke. Just like,
everybody else. And you're an inflated narcissistic ego that history is going to look back on you and see that you were one of the good ones is just
that's not what's that's said. It's not what he said. That's not what he said.
Pure narcissism, self-delusion, and just you thinking about just yourself. It's pathetic. It's pathetic, and you need to stop. It just stop thinking like that. Yeah, stop thinking. Yeah, and incredibly correct. Yeah, I mean, again, and being on the right side of this, that's not even what's being discussed.
This chatter. Bro, I just followed and less than 10 minutes ago. I just followed and less than 10 minutes ago. And I'm already in the crosshairs. Haha. Excellent. Projectio. Projectio. Come to Brazil. No, this is an American. Oh my God, dude. He's a wizard. Projectio. Shut the fuck up, dude. Shut up, chat. Because you're being funny again.
Bro, everyone is on Free Palestine side, but the crazy ones support killing civilians. What's so hard to get?
No one is I have yet to see one person look at the Israeli embassy shooter and say anything remotely supportive. Every single pro-Palestinian person I know has looked at the Israeli embassy shooter and said, I denounce this. This is obviously bad, if only because it worsens the situation for Gaza. Denims, you just called out Asman for misrepresenting a chatter, and then you did the same thing. Can you stop this false argument of, haha, you're stupid? No, I engaged with this chatter very genuinely, multiple times actually, and then they refused to engage with me. At that point, yeah, I'll make fun of you, and at that point, if Asmongold was doing that, I think that would be fine. Now you're misrepresenting me.
Get about that. Yeah, I think how many of you guys, the way that I describe the conflict and the way that I feel about it is how you feel about it.
If you didn't talk about Asman or use his content, what would you talk about? You've been talking about him for over an hour. I'm getting banned now for asking, huh? Do you know that this is the same NPC like message that every single person comes in here and says as a fan of their favorite content creator that I criticize? This is what every Ethan Klein fan says like every other day. When I talk about Ethan Klein, if you didn't talk about Ethan Klein, what would you talk about? When I talk about Asman, if you didn't talk about Asman, what would you talk about? It's not my fault a lot of people say stupid shit that I want to make fun of. It's called a farm, dude. It ain't much, but it's honest work.
Yeah. Like, actually, you know what? Let's go even farther than that. Let's do a straw poll.
Sorry, this chatter said, how? About misrepresenting people? How did I engage with them genuinely? I engaged with them here when they were talking about yet he's #1 political streamer. And I explained that someone can be the most watched person of a thing. It doesn't make them better at that thing. Do you think Jake Paul is the best boxer that ever lived because he's the most talked about boxer, because he's the most famous current boxer? Of course not. That's a ridiculous notion. And you agree that that's a ridiculous notion. That's what I said to this chatter. I explained to them that just because someone is the most popular doesn't mean that they're the best at the thing. And then what did they say to me? They said, projection 07, when you speak, think if you're speaking to yourself. They were incapable of responding. And so they said something stupid instead. At that point, I'm allowed to make fun of you for saying something stupid. You've also been here for an hour, so you saw it happen. But I'm just going to assume that you're going to say, well, I was away from my computer when that happened, so I didn't see it. Okay, great. I did respond genuinely, just like I do all the time. And then at a certain point, once you're incapable of responding back in a way that makes any sense at all, I will make fun of you. What Asmon did to that chatter was not responding fairly and then choosing to respond in a silly way. He immediately pulls up his messages, bans him, doesn't engage with him, and then misrepresents his position and thinks that the guy is inflating his own ego, when in reality, what he's saying is, I am not a public figure. You are a public figure. You will be scrutinized in the future for your stances on these things in a way that I won't. History will remember that. And he misconstrues it to mean, you think you're more important than you are. Again, like, I'm not saying anything complicated. These are all really simple, basic things. Like, nothing I've said in this whole stream has been complicated. It's all unbelievably surface level. And it confuses me and blows my mind that on every Mold Monday that we do, which we haven't had a Mold Monday in a while, so I guess I kind of forgot that this happens. But every single Mold Monday, it blows my mind that I can say a sentence that should not be controversial in the slightest. And somehow people don't understand what the criticism is. They don't understand what the accusation is. They don't, like... The messages I get in response to my sentences don't fundamentally make any sense.
And it's driving me crazy.
Internet Governor, thank you for the 20 gift subs. What the hell? Thank you. It was really generous of you. Everybody say thank you or else I'll be sad. Fuck. Look at this. Sorry. Look, views aside, this sort of daily hate, toxic farming behavior, etc., it can't be healthy for you in the long run. I hope you find happiness truly. First of all, as a gamer, this is my queuing for League. This is me queuing for a League match. Second, I spend my free time with beautiful women eating beautiful food. Delicious, gorgeous food. How do you spend your time? The call is coming from inside the house. Oh my God, you know Giggly? Yes, I do. Dude, I look so tall in this photo. I was taller than the people in this photo, but I do look so tall. Giggly's so small. We had some hot pot. It was really good.
What is it? What is it? How do you spell it?
For the Asmongold viewers that are in chat, it's just funny that he doesn't know how to spell Israel. And people are dyslexic. People make mistakes. I'm not judging him on that on a fundamental level. I think he should be judged on his incorrect opinions about Houthi terrorists and whether or not they're designated as a terrorist organization and whether or not Hasan had them on before that or after that, or whether or not he had someone on that was a Houthi terrorist in the first place. But I do think this is comedic. Israel?
I'm going to get it right eventually, okay?
Mayor count.
All right. Israel. Okay, well, look, I don't give a fuck, all right? Everybody.
Oh, God. How many of your viewers do you think are Asmon fans? None. None. I think a lot are fallen Asmon fans.
He knows. Yes, no. Very, very simple. So again, this is what my viewpoint on Palestine and Israel is. I totally support the people in Gaza. I think that they are victims not only of, obviously Israel bombing them, but also Hamas. I think that they're getting attacked on both sides, and I have tremendous sympathy for them. That doesn't mean I do not support Hamas. I think Hamas is awful. And I also think the Israeli government is, to another degree, awful. Would I say equal? I don't know enough about that. But I do feel worse for the people in Palestine than the people in Israel, because the people in Israel, at least they have the Golden Dome. Sorry, not the they don't. We have the Golden Dome, okay? They only have the Iron Dome. And also they can protest against Israel without being killed. whereas people can't protest.
Not true. It's literally not true. We just pulled up an article of a U.S. citizen that was killed protesting the Israeli government. There's the famous bulldozer case of a U.S. citizen criticizing Israel. And if like that's how they treat U.S. citizens, how do you think they treat their citizens? Guess what? Poorly. There are unbelievable the number of citizens in Israel that have been detained, killed, or imprisoned by the state of Israel for criticizing the genocide in Gaza is obscene. And if you don't know this, it's because you're actively pretending like it doesn't exist.
Protest against Hamas without being killed, or at least the threat of being killed. So that's my viewpoint on the Israel versus Palestine and who I have sympathy for. So let's actually see what the vote is, and we'll look and see.
My favorite form of research, polling your very biased chat. Hey, people who come in to watch my stream every day, do you agree with me? Oh my God. Oh, my head, my head.
See what everybody thinks. Wow, look at that. The common sense, reasonable, well.
This is another one. This is another one. This is just too good. I just can't. I can't. This is amazing. Evidence that I'm based, my chat agrees with me.
So let's actually see what the vote is, and we'll look and see what everybody thinks. Wow, look at that. The common sense, reasonable, well nuanced opinion that doesn't support violence on either side, but, sympathizes with the civilians that are at risk. What a big fucking surprise. The site crash? Yeah, it crashes every time because we got a lot of people that vote. But here's the point, right? Here's my point. There it is. That's what people really...
I can't. There it is. There it is. There it is. Mayor Cat, do you agree? Oh, man. All right.
really think. Twitch mods reached out to Hasan and apologized for banning him. In my opinion, I think they should apologize for banning him. I think they should, because this is going to be worse for Hasan. It's going to be worse for Twitch. A 24-hour suspension is worse than not suspending him. Why? Let me explain. The first thing is that it creates a media point where a person on Twitch was banned for endorsing terrorism that has had a history of being accused of endorsing terrorism. That is what it...
You are the one doing it. It's like talking about a streamer and then being like, this person keeps getting accused of being a... And like all of your videos are you calling them a... It's like...
It reads, and if you look up the articles of how it was written on the first page of Google, this is exactly what it says. For violating terrorist content policy over repeated violations, kicked off Twitch after sick comments about DC Jewish people. So it creates a news cycle that says that you had a person on your website that was actively supporting terrorism, or at least providing a platform for terrorism. And then when they get unbanned, it provides a frame of reference of how seriously the company takes that accusation. Because by their own definition, he was doing this. That's why he got suspended. So why is it that not seriously at all, right? And so do you see how a 24-hour suspension...
I can't handle the literacy rate, dude. I can't.
...is actually worse. Do you see my logic now with this, right? Because this is the issue, is that nobody can ever see more than one step ahead of them. This is what's going to happen. As soon as Hasan gets unbanned tomorrow or the day later, people aren't going to remember. They're just going to see the headline.
Meerkat, what do you think? What do you think, Meerkat? What do you think? Your silence is deafening. Twitch is just not consistent with their rules. If they were actually consistent with their rules, he would have gotten banned on the last manifesto or the last manifesto or the last manifesto or the last one. Technically, all of those were against terms of service, but he only got banned for this one. They were all technically ban-worthy offenses according to the rules. Also, we're not going to get a good change to that ruling, and we're not going to get a good adjustment. It's kind of like the gay cake, gay wedding thing. You have to find a bakery that eventually says, no, I won't make you that cake. So you can actually take to the court system. So you can eventually take them to the Supreme Court so you can fight for people's rights. It's sort of the similar, this is gay cake. Hasan is gay cake. Hasan is gay cake, guys. This is just true. If you guys don't tell him that he is gay cake, I'll be very disappointed in all of you, okay?